Hello internet people, David here, and this is now day 3 of my game dev journey. Wait, nope, this is day 2. I'm time traveling already. I have so many ideas in my head, I'm now already on to day 3, but no, this is day 2 of the game dev journey. Thank you for everyone who's been following along. I did not expect this much attention to these videos that I'm making, but the first two are doing surprisingly well in terms of how my channel usually performs, so thank you very much for taking an interest in what I'm doing.
Oh my god!
Having people like you help me make my first game means a lot to me, so thank you. So I spent a lot of today trying to figure out different perspectives that 2D games deploy to make their world look more 3D. And there seems to be a lot of confusion as to what 2.5D is online, where people aren't sure if some things are 3D assets and the camera is forcing a perspective to make it look 2D or 2.5D, or if the game is actually 2D, just the assets are drawn and angled in such a way that it looks 2.5D. So if you have no clue what I'm talking about by this point, that's okay, because I don't either. So let me pull out paint.net and start making some doodles. This is going to be really embarrassing for me, and I'm probably going to desperately need to hire an artist, and you'll see why shortly here. Okay, so you have a normal 3D world. Let me just go ahead and draw like a cube, and like there's like a sky up here, and let me draw the floor. There we go, something like that. Beautiful. This is definitely the best cube I could have drawn. And you got your characters in here, etc. Oh, maybe there's a box or something in here. But you have all these objects in this plane of existence that's 3D. And then maybe you stick a camera up top here, looking down. And then that's your top-down dungeon crawler that looks like it's kind of 2D because you have a forced perspective from above. That makes it kind of look flat, but all your objects are 3D assets. And then you have, I think, what people consider 2.5D as well, where the camera angle is kind of over here. And I don't know what this direction's called right here, but like, I think it's orthogonal? I don't know. Someone let me know in the comments what this camera angle is and what this one is. Where all your things are now kind of like angled looking from this camera. So you get a kind of a bit of depth. I don't feel like I'm explaining this very well, but let me know if you're following along. And then you have, let me delete everything. Oh, I don't necessarily want it to be transparent, so let's fill in the background again. Nope, not black. There we go. And then you have an actual just 2D world. Oh, my paintbrush is white. Then you have an actual 2D world that is just a square essentially, but you make, and your camera is just right in front here, but you make all your assets. I'm going to try and draw a peanut here, freehanded. There we go. Here's my little peanut character that I want to make my game with. But then you have all your sprites and assets shaped in such a way that they look like you're in a 3D world. And I think this is another way of doing 2.5D. Something like this. So I'm walking around in this world, but the sprites are angled in such a way that it looks like I'm walking on an actual 3D surface, even though I only have an X and a Y. I think I did that backwards. Here, we'll make Y this way, X this way. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's been a while since I've done Cartesian plane coordinates. But something like that. You get what I'm saying. Yeah, you're smart. You get what I'm saying. So my guy can move upwards on the screen. He can move left, right. I don't plan on doing jumping in this game. But I think this is a style I want to head in. It's a 2D game. But the sprites and the assets are shaped in such a way that it looks three-dimensional, but really they're all flat objects on a 2D world. And then I think there's something you can do maybe on a Z-axis, and I don't know if Godot can do this, where you have certain objects like a cloud where you can go underneath this cloud so that your 2D sprite can walk underneath this cloud and I'll disappear, so maybe you'll only see like, you know, my body as I pass through. And vice versa, where there's objects that I can hide behind. Maybe there's a tree here. Something like that. I hope these doodles were very illuminating as to my thought process and explanation of the type of perspective I'm looking for. So, let me know what this art style is called. I've heard the word isometric thrown around a lot, but I don't know if this is actually like isometric or this is just a camera angle perspective or a camera trick. I want to read up more on what exactly this frame of reference is. So if anyone has any good examples or even basic steps of how to set up a game like this, please send it my way. I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, I was thinking a lot about perspectives today and how I want my game to actually look and feel. And a game that heavily inspired me recently, and I love the art style of that game. Love it, love it, love it. Is a game called Cat Quest 2, where it's a simple 2D RPG, but the world felt very 3D. But upon inspection of the game, you could tell that everything was a 2D flat asset. And they just did a really good job with camera perspectives, forced perspectives, and I think even the way they drew their assets to make it look and feel like you're in a 2.5D or 3D world. And I'm going to go show some clips of what I'm talking about, because I would love to make my game in this art style, and if anyone knows what this is called, please let me know. So here is the game I was talking about that I love to play. I'm still playing through it right now. I love this art style. Please let me know what this art style is, because I would love to replicate it. So even in this first 14 seconds of the game, I'll talk a little bit about what I experienced playing this game. So this whole game is apparently 2D. Everything here is just an X and Y axis. You can take a look at the two main characters here. They are very 2D, kind of Paper Mario-ish-esque. If you're moving to the right, you have this image. If you're moving to the left, it kind of flips over. So there is no 3D-ness to these objects. They're purely 2D objects. I'm not exactly sure what they did with this map that you're walking on, but it looks hand-drawn. I don't think this is tiled, so this is pretty cool what they did, where they just kind of hand drew the whole map in this angled perspective, and you can move about on it in a 2D plane. I think further in this clip, it also shows you hiding behind these bushes. Yeah, so you can kind of phase through these bushes, which was a cool effect. But there was an element of like a Z-axis as well. And however you do that, I'll find that out in the future. But it just made the world feel very 3D or 2.5D, despite being purely 2D. Actually, I just want to talk about that too. Even when the camera zooms out like that, there was a lot of moments when I was playing this game with my partner, where as she got further away from me, the camera did pan out, so we're both in frame at the same time. But they had some sort of perspective change with the camera, and I don't know if this is a camera trick, where as my character got further away from her, it looked like I got smaller, and the map kind of curved a little bit. And I don't know if that's some sort of camera trick in perspective. If somebody knows what I'm talking about, please let me know. But if you look in the background here, these creatures are a bit smaller looking compared to these ones, unless they are the same size. I don't know. Maybe they're the same size. But everything when you zoomed out did seem to shrink. And I don't know if that was some sort of camera trick or just when you're playing, you're a lot more zoomed in and all these assets are just getting zoomed out. And this is just how actually big this game is. I don't know what exactly is going on here. Yeah, let me know below if you think you know what is happening here. In this game, they have these attack circles that let you know that the character's winding up for an attack, so you have time to dodge. I'd love to do something like that in my game. But one thing I did like is even the circle isn't like a perfect circle. It's more like an egg shape, where it's kind of squished a little bit. And it just goes to show how you can make your assets, how you can draw your assets so that they look like they're angled in some way, despite this once again being a very flat 2D world. All the creatures look 3D-ish, but once again, it's just Paper Mario. This is a 2D character that looks very 3D. This chest is once again a 2D sprite. And I just found this world beautiful, and I'd love to try to create a game in this style. Let's keep watching. So one thing that was very interesting about this game too, and I'd love to try to deploy this too with different dungeons in my Nutty Dungeon game, is they have these almost forward-facing assets, or they've changed the perspective of the dungeons to different orientations. So in this case, it looks like I'm kind of going forward over these spike traps. And I don't know if they had to like hand draw these and make them smaller as things went along, or once again, this is just a camera trick where all these assets are the same size, just the camera makes it look like it's stretched and further out. I still don't know what this camera perspective is, and if this is a trick or it's just hand drawn this way. But they do have these spike traps and different level layouts from a different perspective. So it looks like they hand drew a lot of these assets from different camera angles, and then they laid out their dungeons in different camera angles and orientations. So yeah, I spent a lot of time deep diving today on the different ways you can orient your game to make it look kind of 3D, but be completely 2D, because I think I finally decided that I'm not going to stick with 3D assets, working in Blender, and trying to make 3D assets and animating a 3D asset is a ton of work, and I think it might be easier, and I might have more flexibility to do things in a 2D world. So I'm going to do something 2D with a 2.5D perspective, similar to Cat Quest 2, I think. If I can ever figure out how to do that, I'm really hoping I can figure out how to make a game like that, because I love the art style. The gameplay is so good. Mwah. Love the game. I'm going to go play it right after recording this video. Instead of making my own game, because you know that's just how it is. You gotta get inspiration sometimes. I think you can relate. And yeah, I think after this video I am gonna be learning some more Godot and how to actually get an object on screen and moving around. And then I think after that I am going to try to make my Peanut sprite. That will be 2.5D. So, great things ahead. Thanks for sticking through this video. If you made it this far into it, you're a champ. I know I don't always organize my thoughts in a coherent way, so thank you for sticking through it, and thank you for helping me out. As always, peace and love. Peace out. Do I say peace and love? Or is it love and peace? I don't know. I'm gonna go watch the other two videos. Now I'm confused as to which way I usually say it. Either way, Love and peace. Peace and love. Peace out.